Should the Rockets request Kyrie Irving in return for dealing out James Harden?
Well, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because as great, as mercurial as Kyrie Irving is, as much of a box office draw as he is, the only argument I would make on his behalf is being a box office draw. Kyrie Irving has shown you he's not interested in being a part of a retooling situation, which is exactly what it would be if both Russell Westbrook and James Harden are gone. If you're talking about pairing him with a superstar, that would be entirely different. But if you're talking about him being the face of a franchise, I think he's graduated from that point. I think that if that's what he wanted to do, and it's clearly what he wanted to do in the past, that would be a situation where you're the Houston Rockets. That's not going to be enough to win basketball games. You're Tillman Fertitta, your GM Stone, your new coach Stephen Silas. Considering the level of success that you've had, you certainly don't want to fall off the map and not even be a playoff contender when you have James Harden locked up for the next 2 years along with Russell Westbrook. If you're going to lose those guys, you want to get multiple picks. You want to get really, really good players that that have the potential to approach greatness, and that's the direction that you want to go in. You don't want to go to, even though he's a superstar talent, he's injury prone. There is no doubt about that. His temperament is questionable, and to be the successor to James Harden in H-Town, I think that would be too much to put on Kyrie Irving's shoulders alone. I think that would be a bad move, and I don't think that they would think about doing it.
Well, I do think you need to insist upon Kyrie or something like him. Now, I keep bringing up the example of the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, by far the greatest owner in the history of American team sports, the Lakers owner, went to Kobe Bryant when Kobe wanted to be traded at a certain point in his career. And I keep bringing this up. Kobe, you're a 5-carat diamond. I'm not breaking you down into 5 1-carat diamonds. You're very rare. I can't get equal value for you. I'm not going to trade you. But if Harden's is coming up as a free agent, he's like, look, you're going to get nothing for me unless you trade me. Then you got to get something back. And as it so happens, I have a rating system that matches up very well with Dr. Buss's 5-carat diamond thing. 5 stars. 5 stars, you're an MVP. 4, you're an all-star. 3, you're a starter. 2, you're a rotation piece. 1, you're replacement level. James Harden is a 5-star player. Kyrie Irving is 4.5. He's not just a regular all-star. He's more than that. Are you getting exactly equal value? No. But you are getting something special that's hard to find. Now, if it's not Kyrie Irving, and the Sixers would be willing to take, say, Karis LeVert and Dinwiddie and draft picks for an injured Simmons, right? And you could do a 3-way trade where Simmons winds up on Houston, Kyrie, or LeVert rather, and Dinwiddie wind up in Philadelphia, something like that, and you have and Harden winds up in Brooklyn. Something like that, yes, but the incoming piece to the Rockets can't just be a LeVert or a Dinwiddie or a couple of 3.5-star guys, where one of them maybe he's a 4-star guy. You need some piece coming back that you look at and you think, I think that can be a 5-star player. I think if it's not already a 5-carat diamond, it can be. Kyrie fits the bill. Ben Simmons fits the bill. And in terms of New York or Brooklyn and Philadelphia, those are the only 2 pieces you could realistically expect to get back where you're approximating James Harden value.
You see, Max and Stephen A., I agree with you guys both. You ready for this one? Max, of course they should ask for a Kyrie Irving. Stephen A., just because they asked for a KI doesn't mean that Kevin Durant, Sean Marks, and these guys are going to actually give up KI and the whole thing. Look, these guys been balling out in L.A. in these secret games, okay? Like, Kevin's looked amazing. They've been finding this rhythm that they've been playing with, James, KI, and Kevin Durant. So, look, the juice is there. The question comes down to Raphael Stone. Not a lot of people make mention of his name. He's a passionate, actually, basketball mind. He knows what he's doing. And my thing is, if you can't extract the value that you feel like you deserve for an MVP caliber player like James Harden, you don't have to make any move. No, like, we can actually hold both of you guys hostages here with our team, with the Houston Rockets, and we can wait and we can see what the trade market is like in a couple of months after a season has already gotten going, when teams are even more desperate to put assets on the table to give me for James Harden or Russell Westbrook. That's how you operate this thing. So if you can't get Jared Allen, if you want Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Kyrie Irving, If you feel like that's your dream scenario for a guy like James Harden, who's one of the most prolific scorers we've ever seen in the history of the game, you don't feel like you get that, then you hold off. Then you hold off and you wait. And maybe one day, if things aren't going well enough in Brooklyn, maybe they come to the table with something different. Maybe still not Kyrie Irving essay, but still maybe they give you future draft picks that give you a lot more than what they originally intended to do so.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, we're not talking about it from the standpoint that Houston's been offered Kyrie Irving and should you take him or turn him down or anything like that. We're just saying that, you're speculating as to whether or not that's somebody you would want on your squad in replacing James Harden. That's number one. Number two, Raphael Stone, you're absolutely right. He has an impeccable reputation in basketball circles. A lot of people speak incredibly high of him. And so I wish him nothing but the best. Happy and proud of the brother to be in the position that he's in. And Tillman Fertitta and those guys definitely love him. Number three, though, here's the reality of the situation. When you talk about Kyrie Irving, we have to think about why James Harden appears to be reportedly so fixated on going to Brooklyn. You want your own version of a big three. Apparently, you haven't just been talking to Kevin Durant. It's the both of them. We all know that Brooklyn wanted Kevin Durant at all costs. We all know, Jay, that Kyrie probably wouldn't be in Brooklyn if it were not for KD, because Brooklyn wasn't that enamored with bringing him on board. You don't turn down a talent like that, but he wasn't their prized possession. They were after KD, Kevin Durant. And so this is Kevin Durant's situation. Kevin Durant ain't trying to sit up there and play with Kyrie Irving and then all of a sudden, okay, before you ever play a game in a Brooklyn uniform, that doesn't matter anymore because we're going to take James Harden instead. The fantasy is the big three, their own version of a big three created and spearheaded by Kevin Durant. That's where James Harden comes into the equation. That's what he's bought into. It's not just about being with KD, even though that's his former teammate. It's the combination of the three and the show that they can put on together.